Hi, Daniela. Welcome to the Awakened Heart podcast.
Hi, how are you?
It's a beautiful morning there in
Melbourne.
Australia. Far, far, far
Yes,
away. It's 7
I
a.m.
certainly have.
there.
It
Bright and
actually
early.
is.
Bright and early. And I don't even start my recordings till 10 because I'm a slow morning person. And you're up looking all beautiful and refreshed at 7 in the morning. That's when I usually open my eyes. But do you have time change over there like we do?
Yes, we have daylight savings in a
Oh,
couple
I
of
can't
weeks. Yeah,
stand it. We
so
just had it always messes me up a little bit. So yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, I'm so excited about our conversation. I know we've talked about this before in this podcast throughout the years, the Akashic record reading and oracles and ascension teaching. And we're going to have such a fantastic conversation on it because what you're teaching is for leaders and soul led individuals to remember their life purpose and mission. And it's so important in our world right now because we've heard so much about how we're on. Have you heard if we're on the right timeline? I'm hearing we're on the right timeline now, unless it's just the United States because of what happened during the election,
Look, I think there's a
depending on
couple of
what
timelines.
depending on how you want to look at it. I'm on the high timeline right now.
Yes, we're on the
I'm
high
not
timeline.
Yes, I'm not mad every day for 4 years, I was just so mad.
Yeah, I get that.
Yes, yes, so, yeah, we need new leaders that are so many people are popping awake like popcorn, and there's remembering, which is so important, who they are and what they came here to do and what their mission is here in this lifetime, and it's interesting, before we hit record, you had talked about you had said as a child, you were highly sensitive in tune with the spiritual realm, so it's something that you've had since you were a child. And then it's so interesting because I've never heard of this before that you had a walk-in current soul of 12 years.
Mhm.
Can you explain that a little more?
So, when someone experiences a walk in, it's usually an episode where there's some kind of accident and then they wake up and they've got amnesia.
Mm.
And when it's a full walk in, they have no memory of the people in the room around them, their old life. And for me, I went through this experience about 12 years ago and I woke up and I did not feel like myself. I couldn't even walk. I couldn't move my body. It felt like almost like a heart attack. And I didn't know what was happening. On a level I did because I still had communication with my spirit guides. But then within a month, all of my friends left my life. My whole life just started to dramatically change. And so I investigated and I discovered that I was a walk in, or what we call our oversoul comes into the physical body because the old soul wanted to leave. And the reason she wanted to leave was because she just had a lot of childhood trauma. She didn't want to be here anymore. And so she called me in to take over the body and her mission. Yeah, so it was quite traumatic.
Mm, mm. And what kind of so you just woke up being this other soul? Did you remember you do remember your original soul, the child?
No, I have
Oh, you don't
absolutely
at all. Oh, you
zero
don't at
memory.
all.
Yeah. So I think the first 3 years for me was integration and helping release the trauma and the stuff that was
Mm.
still in that physical body. So it was not a pleasant experience at all.
Mhm. That's what I was gonna ask, the symptoms.
Yeah, the symptoms were horrific. I thought I was going through multiple dark nights of the soul and that I
Yeah.
was literally dying. Didn't have a lot of people in my life to kind of support me on that level. But at that time, I also was really in tune with a lot of my past lives. And that's when that Akashic record piece for me really came through strongly because the other
Mhm.
soul, she was a makeup artist. I mean, I still got a little bit of that now. She was a makeup artist and she was doing tarot readings. But when I was a walk-in, that was all removed. I just went straight into being the Akashic record reader. So it was a completely
Mm.
different soul.
So you come in as this soul and you remember who you are as this new walking soul. And then there's this other person you had to discover or learn about through photos and through family and through loved ones and through their experiences of you as this other soul, correct?
Yes, and it was really quite fascinating
Mm.
because the relationship with my parents completely disintegrated, so I had
Mm,
barely no contact with them
mhm,
anymore. I've still got my daughter, obviously, and part of the soul contract when I incarnated was to make sure that she would be provided for and looked after. But then she ended up living with her dad, I think maybe 8 months after I came in. So there was
mhm.
just so many big changes at that time. I lost my
Yeah.
driver's license because my soul didn't know how to drive. I still
Mm.
don't drive. So it was a completely different experience.
Not to mention the physical symptoms as well. Did you have that? A lot of physical coming into this soul. Did you have physical reactions to it or no?
Well,
With
yes,
this
because
physical memories, yeah,
the body itself didn't know what was
holds the
going
memories.
on. You know, the body remembered the old soul's frequency. And so the
Yes.
body for a long time was like, well, who are you? You know, what are you trying to do? Because there was a lot of transmutation and
Mhm.
alchemization, as you can imagine, happening with my soul, who was, you know, I am an advanced soul. Like my last lifetime was the Queen of England. So, you know, I'm not a small soul
Uh,
coming into this physical body, while the other soul was more kind of simplistic and didn't have a lot of life experience. So it took
mhm.
a long time for the body to kind of come on board and go, okay, I can trust you.
Mhm. Mhm. And all trauma, previous trauma or memories in past DNA, his lineage is held in the body. It's held in the muscles, it's held in the tissues, it's held in the water that goes through our bodies. So that is so interesting. That's the first time I've ever heard of that. I love that. And it's interesting that you said you're the Queen of England because I flashed back to an ayahuasca journey that I had and I see myself. I was a queen. I don't know who she is. I don't know if it's necessarily a Cleopatra, but I see her distinctly in her beautiful gold lame, like shimmering, like liquid gold, walking out regally into. It was almost like it was Incan or Mayan times or some,
Mm,
but it was future. It wasn't something from the past, but it was more like something that happened, like maybe in galactic times or something like
mm.
that. I don't know what it
It
was,
felt
but
like galactic times, or even like your Atlantean lives as
yes.
well, that high
Yes.
priestess energy, for
Yes,
sure.
that's yes, that's what it is. So we're both queens in our own way. Queen, queen. I just listened to Joe Dispenza this morning. It was like, "You are a queen." And, yeah, I sent that, as inspiration to another friend of mine. So we're queens. So great. Well,
Love
that was a
that.
wonderful like walk learning about that, but let's backtrack a little bit. And for the people, my audience members that might be just coming into the Awaken Heart podcast and haven't heard about the Akashic Records before, for those unfamiliar, can you explain what the Akashic Records are and how they can help people unlock their fullest potential?
Absolutely. From my perspective, it is the most amazing tool and experience to have because it's literally your own personal spiritual library. So kind of see it as when you go onto a computer and you're Googling and searching information, the Akashic Records is actually that for you. So I can access your files from any past or future timeline, galactic lifetime. So I don't just do the earthly lives. It's basically every thought, every feeling, every experience that your soul has ever had and with the people around you.
Library. Now, speaking of that, the Ascension, the Akashic Records, and then there's something called the Ascension Library. Are you familiar with that? Because you were talking
Um,
about Galactic. What do you think about the Ascension Library? I mean, I dived down that rabbit hole one day. I was like, oh my God, I don't remember what it was that I was reading, but it
well,
was pretty
yeah, I mean,
interesting.
there's definitely different libraries
Yeah.
available. I do access that library every now and then.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, a lot of humanity aren't ready to hear about
Yeah.
galactic origins and stuff like that,
Yes.
even though that is a lot of my work to help the light workers to really access all of their soul gifts from all parallel realities.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to like understand. I'm open to it and it's so fascinating. Oh my gosh. I read that. I was like so fascinated by it. And then I've also heard with the Galactics, we're going all over the place right now. And then I'll bring us back. Something
All good.
about Sirius, how it's like it's not really a good energy. Is that correct? I have somebody that whenever a Sirius comes up, she's like, oh, oh no. Have you heard anything about that?
I just have a belief system that there's, you know, positive and negative in all
in a good way.
races. Yeah. So, I could look at the Aryan race and sort of say, well, they've done a lot of negative things, but, we've all got shadow energy. Even God has shadow energy.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't kind of look
Yeah.
at it like that. Like it's all about polarization and that's how we
Yes.
learn.
Yes, yes, yes. So, okay, now backtracking before the Akasha, before we talked about walk ins, can you talk a little bit about your childhood and how you were highly sensitive early on and you communicated with guides and relatives in the spirit form and what that experience was like and how it led you? You kind of felt like you didn't belong. A lot of people that have these intuitive gifts are just think they're crazy and they try to hide their gifts and they think it's a curse and they try to fit in. So at a certain point, you decided to like discover more of the truth about yourself and to bring what you have been given out to the world. Can you kind of go back into your childhood and the evolution to where you are now?
Sure.
In short, you
Yeah,
could we could
I
spend a
can
lot of
do
time
that.
on this.
Yeah, so the simplified version is yes, as a child, I came into a very unawakened family. I was highly sensitive and empath. I would pick up on if people didn't like me or not. So I was very much a recluse as a child, even though I had friends. There was always this I'm different to them. I don't belong here. They don't understand me. I spent a lot of time in isolation and I had like my imaginary friend Tim who was with me for quite a long time until I told him to leave. And then I just felt even more alone. So it wasn't until I met a psychic artist who actually drew one of my spirit guides. And she said, you just don't realize how telepathic you are and that you read minds and you just thought everyone was like you. And I went, oh, like until that moment, I had no awareness that people couldn't just do what I could do. So it was a bit of a shock.
So that must have been fabulous to know that oh my gosh, I'm not the only one.
It was more of a understanding of who I was at that time, and then
Mhm,
I went on to let's look at Reiki and sort of delved into
mhm.
the rabbit hole about life and yeah, but I had a lot of anxiety attacks at that time as well because I was sexually abused from the age of 8, like a lot of light workers are, right? So
Mhm.
for me, it was more understanding the anxiety, where it stemmed from, and that kind of led me to stepping into what I do now, just so I could really support humanity with their own trauma. Yeah.
So how do past life fears and traumas impact our present day relationship, our finances, and our personal growth?
Yeah, so everything's intertwined. So our past lives are running parallel with our current reality, which a lot of people get very confused about
Mhm.
because they think past lives are behind us.
Mhm.
But no, the work that I do, we're working on multidimensional levels. So you can sometimes be working on 3 different lives at once. And that's why it's important
Wow.
to really understand, well, where does this stem from? Like if I've got an issue with a loved one, I go into the Akashic Records and get to the core root issue. Well, this is where it began. It began in Atlantis. There was a
Mhm.
betrayal, there was a rejection. And so that's the beauty with the Akashic Records. We can literally rewrite your script. Yeah.
And when you're talking about, oh God, I've dove into quantum mechanics and quantum physics. My brain it just is so mind blowing. And to see that we're like, okay, here's our past and here's our present. And it's like right next to each other. And our
Mm.
future's there too. Everything's like right there. And you just like by accessing different timelines, they're all existing at the same time. And there's an infinite number, isn't there? The, the multiverse.
Yes, the multiverse.
How would you describe the multiverse, like from your perspective?
To me, everything's just intertwined. Like we're all at one with each other. So it's just different dimensions and realities. That's how I see it. It's like, the tree of life, if you know what that looks like, it's kind of looking at it like that. We all just live in these parallel universes. And that's why sometimes we can't hear each other because we're literally in a different time.
I've heard that when you walk out of a room and you come back in, It's happened a lot more as I get older, but you walk into another room, you forget what you went there for because you might have entered another timeline. Or
Yes, all that kind of stuff, and things disappear. And yeah,
yes.
for me, I just find it frustrating when you're having a conversation and they're just blank. They're just
Oh,
like,
that
you're
happens
not even in the same room as them.
yes. Like things disappear like your socks when you're doing laundry or the Tupperware lids. Like, where did it go? They're just
Or
vanished.
jewelry. Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? Crazy
It's biz
times.
it is, and there it is floating above your head. So what does it mean to truly embody your soul gifts, and how can someone begin that journey?
Okay, well, as I mentioned, like, because we've lived so many different multiple lives, and especially on more advanced planets such as Earth, by having the awareness of who you are, what your life lessons are, what have you embodied in these other lifetimes, it really helps you not just know yourself on a deeper level, but it's just so exciting when you get to have that information. Well, this is what I've actually done before, and this is what I'm really good at. And so I look at people's life purpose and their higher purpose as well, which is their fullest potential. And once you have that information, then you know the correct kind of path to go. So it's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm,
just having that understanding of yourself.
mhm. Yeah. Can you share a powerful experience where accessing the Akashic Records where it led to a profound transformation for one of your clients?
Wow. I mean, honestly, one of the biggest ones for me wasn't so much the soul gifts. It was a couple in their early 50s wanting to fall pregnant. So again, it may not also be, necessarily gifts, but they knew that Ivy was meant to come to them. And I just helped them really understand what the blocks were, what had happened in past lives, why they felt that they couldn't have that child. And then, yes, Ivy is now a year and a half, and she's my biggest gift as an Akashic record reader to the world.
Wow. So you accessed that and they didn't think they could get pregnant. Is that was the case and now all of a sudden in their 50s, in their mid 50s?
Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
50, 54. She had Ivy. Yeah.
Yeah. And it showed that they had a child. So is it just that knowledge that helped them become pregnant or to keep trying or just knowing that this was meant for them to have a child?
It was a number of things, but the biggest gift was when I was able to communicate with Ivy's soul. So that's obviously as a
Oh.
medium, something I'm very good at as well. And I
Mhm.
would keep saying, like, they had a miscarriage and they were about to give up. And I said, no, Ivy said, this is because it's COVID and this is just not the right timeline for me.
Mhm.
Just wait another year. And then bang, she came in. So yeah, it was kind of like lots of different conversations and pieces that supported them. I wouldn't say it was just one
Mhm.
session, but it just gave them the courage to keep going,
Keep
which
going.
was amazing.
When a lot of them would give up. So that little soul, Ivy, is that her name?
Yeah.
Ivy. Does she communicate you with you? Does she remember you from being the soul before she was born into her body? Or is that do you guys have this special relationship where she remembers you and can talk to you about her other life?
Not as yet. She's only 18 months now, but I was
Mhm.
on a phone call with them the other
See the
day. And
eyes.
yeah, and her mum said, do you remember Daniela? She said, yes. And I was crying. Like I was literally in tears to know that this
Mhm.
beautiful soul, could remember the communication that I'd had with her previously before she was even
Mhm.
in the womb. So, yes, she absolutely does remember me.
It sounds like this would be a powerful gift to give to somebody when before their child is born, maybe when the child is in the womb to communicate with their soul. And when they're first born, because they're literally like women are the portals to other dimensions. And this being just comes out that was just closest to God or whatever you believe in, or on the other side or to other worlds. Do you ever do something where you might be in the birthing room or while someone's pregnant?
Haven't actually gone to that level yet. My role has been in the fertility industry, more just giving them the support. Like if they've
Mhm.
just lost a child and they just want closure and they want to understand why that child didn't stay. So then that allows them to then fall pregnant again, because a lot of the time they're very scared to fall pregnant. So that's more the role that I play for
Mhm.
women and men as well. Like sometimes it's, there's not enough testosterone. So yeah, I can kind of tune into the body on different levels to see what's happening. Yeah, which is
Mm.
cool.
Mhm. So, going back a little bit, you had mentioned struggling as a child with feeling like you didn't belong in this world. How did that shape your spiritual journey? I know it led you to question and to discover your truth. How else did it shape you?
It just made me very compassionate and unconditionally loving for humanity and what they go through. So I really feel like I've come out of my childhood not as a victim or not feeling there's something wrong with me, which a lot of sensitive empaths do. I've really walked out of this experience just knowing in my whole heart that I'm here to serve humanity and to just really teach them that they aren't the programming and the trauma that they think they are. So that's a lot of my work, sort of reprogramming people to see their soul and not just focusing on this is what's happened to me. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's where I'm at now in life.
Mm. What are some common challenges that soul-led individuals face when stepping into their purpose?
Again, I really feel like it's around reaching that trust in themselves and not listening to the ego and the ego putting in that self-doubt and those negative thoughts that we tend to have as we kind of shift our vibration and we step into our purpose. Like a lot of women that come to me in particular struggle with their identity, like who they think they are. And so a lot of the work that I teach people is this is not your identity. I want you to start embodying this version, which is the soul version, which is, the version that a lot of people don't teach because we are made to believe we are our personality and our thoughts. Is that landing what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, it does, as we
Yeah.
identify with that.
Yeah, so I like to just release them from those identities of, well, I can't do this because my parents said this, or society says I can't, I can't be powerful. And yeah, I think it's really important that people really step into that power and allow themselves to be seen and not feeling I have to keep myself safe, which a lot of light workers in particular feel. They don't feel like they can be on the planet and do their life work without something happening. So that's a big issue I see.
So, for those who are feeling called to assist in humanity's ascension, but are unsure of their next steps, how would you advise them to start stepping into that direction?
For me, it's embodiment work. It's facing your biggest fears. It's facing your shadows. It's facing those parts of you that, as I said in other lifetimes, we've been very stopped, haven't we, from kind of reaching our true potential. So it's finding the community. It's finding the right people that will give you that support. It's very difficult as a soul-led entrepreneur to do everything by yourself. So that's what I would really suggest to people, find that support, find the right mentor, even connect with someone like myself where we can just say, keep going, keep going. I know everything's, looks like it's like one of my clients, she has this amazing lingerie and, sometimes her company nosedives. I said, no, your higher purpose is this, like, let's keep you on track. So it's important to have those cheerleaders, I think.
Hmm. It's so important. We were just talking earlier. I was just talking earlier with someone how you're the sum of all like 5 or 6 people that you surround yourself with. So choose wisely.
Yes, definitely. It makes a big difference.
Yes. So the Galactic ambassadors, and I know that you work with them. Can you explain what they are? I mean, this is going woo, way up there. Yes, the Galactic Wars, the Galactic Federation, the Galactic Ambassadors. What is their role and how do they support humanity's evolution?
So we've got the guardian hosts that a lot of light workers call on. So they are the ones helping the ascension process and the Christos race. So they're the ones I align with because I know they are the Christ consciousness. It's important to call on the right, let's just say hierarchy at the moment because
Mhm.
there's a lot of, let's just call them hybrids that are looking at us at the moment.
Yeah.
The ambassadors are here to really ensure that these energies that have been taking over the planet over 25,000 years no longer have that control. So without going into too much technicality, the Galactic Ambassador's role is to really ensure Earth ascends, which is then going to help the entire solar system. So we're the ones that everyone's watching right now, really watching the light workers just bring more light onto the planet. And yeah, so the guardian hosts are the ones that kind of oversee all of us, and they're the best ones to call on.
So it's like the Palladians are a galactic host, or no? Or what do
Yeah.
you mean by host?
Okay, so I call them the Christos race.
The Christos.
And
Okay.
yeah, the Christos, so they're kind of like the highest Christ frequency energies to call on. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the galactic hosts, some of them are Palladians, some of them are Arcturians, some of them are the Andromedians. Yeah, they are kind of like the karmic boards, right? So we have karmic boards that we call on, especially if there's energies on the planet that are going against the sacred laws of the universe, which they're meant to follow. So yeah, there's kind of like all these different boards that if we go out of alignment, as you know, I mean, I don't want to believe in karma per se, but if we do something, there's the law of cause and effect. So these galactic ambassadors kind of keep us on track, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
for the whole galaxy.
And there's a lot of the darker energies that they feed off of fear. I'm hearing, the world, and they're not able to feel emotions like we do. So they feed off of our energy of chaos and fear.
That's
Mhm.
their exact role. They're very parasitic, and everything they do is designed to put us in that low state of consciousness. Yeah, and that's
Mhm.
why the light workers, for me, need to be activated, because we're the ones that just shift us more into that, Christ consciousness. Yeah.
And this is going off something I heard as well too. It's just there's so many new light workers that are being born, starseeds and workers that are being born or coming into this world. And so the dark entities or whoever you want to call them is trying to keep us from ascending as species, as a race, and to evolve. So they're trying to cut them off at the source from coming in to this
Mhm.
world through like the medical interventions that are going out and the abortions or like dumbing us down as
Yes.
societies. Have you heard that as well? Is that something that is happening, that so many are coming into this world now, like
Well, yes. I mean, we already know what COVID was really about,
yes.
was to dumb and,
Mhm.
cut off from the soul level a lot of the light workers. And it has been a real problem for us. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's something that I really struggle internally with, just seeing how many people bought into that fear.
Yes, and they still are, some of them.
Yes, they
Not
still
learned.
are. So that's why
Mhm,
what the beautiful work that we are doing, we are able
mhm.
to help activate the angelics, the star seeds, and this is your mission. This is why you're here. That's the biggest role that I have on the planet right now, to really work with the star seeds as well. And this is why banding together and creating these new systems, such as the schooling system, and bringing the naturopaths and the healers back on board. This is these entities' biggest fear, that the more people awaken, that they won't have that control and power over us. Yeah.
I've had somebody else that was an Akashic reader. She had said that had to do she did a reading on someone or she did some work on this person and their soul was like completely disconnected. Like she said it was the scariest thing, that she went in there and just the soul, it was just it was cut off. She's like, it's like
Yep.
there was nothing there. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what
Yes.
we're here for, is to keep raising people's awareness. I mean, some people come into this lifetime not ready to ascend or not, it's not their role in this lifetime to wake up. And that's why you can't wake everybody up. You can't wake anybody up. They have to be ready to. They have to be ready to open their eyes. They have to, ready to start remembering. And some people just aren't. And that's when you can get so frustrated and just us versus them. These people might not be ready to awaken in this lifetime. So just let them
Yeah.
be and just know that that is their soul's choice at this moment.
Yeah. And it is, as we know, it's very, very painful when someone we love is choosing that 3D timeline while we're
Mhm.
like, but there's so much goodness coming in the
Yes.
miracle timeline and abundance. And why would you choose fear?
Yeah, somebody driving by still with it's 2025. Why are you driving up by yourself with a mask on? Still don't
Exactly.
like, go in peace.
Yeah, well, you know, it was one of the biggest,
Yeah, it
biggest
was.
lies we've ever seen. And
Yes.
and, I think for me personally, because, obviously both of us are old souls, we understand brainwashing, mind control. Like I didn't buy into it at all this life because I was just so programmed to not be hypnotized. No one can hypnotize me because I just
Mhm.
will not allow mind control to come into my energy field. So,
Mhm.
but not everyone's able to do that. Most
No,
of
they're not.
humanity gets brainwashed very easily.
Yeah, it's mass psychosis. Mass psychosis.
Mm.
I think it was what, 75% of the world. And it was a test. And they saw how far they could go and they went pretty far. But what a time, boy. Just the censorship still getting censored, but censorship, like upside down clown world. Like, what? So crazy. Like, what is going on?
I know, and it's so exciting because as you can feel this new shift, I
Yeah.
am just so excited to see where we're going as a race now. And let's just keep our frequency high, sister.
Yes.
And to all your listeners as well. Like that's what we need to do. It's laughing, having joy, not
Yes.
focusing on the doom and the gloom anymore. It's like, yeah, okay, it's going on, but live your best life.
Yep. That's all you can do. That's all you can do and
Mm.
inspire others. So let's go into your love and twin flames and soul connection. I love this subject about a twin flame. A lot of people don't really understand what a twin flame is. And well, first of all, maybe explain what a twin flame is and the misconception around that because you're hearing, oh, he's my twin flame. We have to chase him. He's a runner. He's a runner. Can you explain what a twin flame is versus a soulmate?
And a
And
karmic.
yes, and your book can I say it?
Yeah, of course.
Fuck the fairy tale ending. Explores the soulmate and twin flame journey. What inspired you to write it?
Oh, there's so many awesome questions there.
Yeah.
So, first of all, a twin flame is literally the other version of you. However, there is three twin flames. So, when we get caught up in this person is the ultimate love, this is the one that you are striving to be with. Let me tell you, sister, unless you are ready, it is one of the most heart wrenching, traumatizing moments if both of you aren't in union. So, if we look at karmic, say a karmic relationship compared to a twin flame, because a lot of people, as you said, believe, oh, this is my twin flame. No, a lot of the time it's this person is mirroring back to you your childhood traumas, and there's a familiarity in that because you usually date your parents, right? So when we look at a twin flame in comparison, they are the mirror reflection of us on the deepest level. So you'll see all the beauty in you, but all the ugliness, all the past life trauma, the issues with the parents, they bring it all up. They trigger it literally out of nowhere. So it's a very expansive relationship, though. It's a very beautiful, like, awareness of yourself, and they are very good at activating things within us that were dormant, right? So again, they come in during an awakening period where we want to, really master our gifts. And a lot of the time, yeah, it doesn't last. They can be married. There's a huge age difference. They may live on another side of the world. More and more of the light workers and the starseeds in particular are calling in their twin flame for that purpose. So when you come in together in union, a lot of the time it is for mission work. Like even though it's romanticized, it's not lollipops and fairy tales. No, not at all.
Mhm.
So I discovered, yeah. So the reason I wrote the book was because I had a lot of people coming to me and they're like, why am I attracted to this person? I'm married, or, they're in a relationship. And that's when I was really delving into my own past life relationships. And I went overseas and I met my twin flame and a soulmate at the same, within the same year. And bang, like that was the book. It really just helped me understand the whole journey of it so then I could support people.
And a lot of people need that support, and the misconception is huge because the I've s- oh my gosh, that show, what is it, Twin Flames? It was a Netflix one where they had this
Mm.
whole scam. It was almost like a cult, Escaping Twin Flames or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I
They
didn't
exploited it
see it,
completely.
but I
It was
heard, yeah.
good.
Yeah,
It was really
they really put a negative spin on it. Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, yes, and yeah, they ripped like they most do, they ripped off the people that they were it was abusive. They were ripping off the people that they were, that were so desperately in these relationships that should have been not in these relationships and holding on to it and being in these abusive relationships and then the people that they were looked toward for help were abusing them as well. So, but yeah, there's a lot of misconception around that and romanticizing around the twin flame. It should just be there's the door, there's the red flags, just like exit stage left. But yeah, I've also heard that it comes around to it's not the most easy relationship, the twin flames.
Yeah, I mean, look, more people can hold the energy of the twin flame more than ever now, and I still support the right people to navigate through those energies because you are literally transmuting on behalf of your ancestors, the collectives.
Mhm.
Like God really works with you a lot more when you have that twin flame in your life because there's big work that can be done when you're together. Yeah, unfortunately, because of that, those lovely entities out there really wreak havoc in those relationships because they don't want us to be in our power and doing our life's work. So that's another reason why a lot of them, sort of fall apart. It's outside
Mhm.
influences, and that's something that I teach people as well. So I'm actually just building my new course around it at the moment and going to take it to America. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Before we go into what your new course is, I've also heard as well that maybe it's different twin flame scenarios, but that is when you're like at the highest, your soul is at the highest level, you've learned your lessons and all that, but you're getting lessons in this twin flame relationship. I've also heard like that it's the most beautiful relationship because you're at that next ascension level.
Yes, which is why I mentioned that there's actually 3 levels of the twin
Oh,
flame.
okay, yes.
Yeah, and the
I want the
gender
last
twin
one.
flame. Yeah.
I want the last one where it's like,
La, 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 la.
so what is your next course that's based around twin flames?
Yeah, well, I'm just creating a course at the moment that is helping you embody that high, like really reach your fullest potential as a soul. So then you are really ready to receive that. Because if you're holding on to the old identity of, I only attract these sort of men and this is how I feel about relationships, like we really need to shift our thoughts and our frequency around who we are. And that's a lot of the work that I'm going to be teaching
Mhm.
people. So I'm really excited about it. It hasn't
Mhm.
been done before,
Mm.
but I'm like, I feel so sad when I have all these clients come to me. They're like, oh, this person broke my heart and I keep meeting the same archetype. And I'm like, no, no more light workers. You're here to have this now. Let's just
Mm.
put you in this timeline.
Mhm. Mhm. That's gonna help a lot of people. It would help a lot. I know whenever I've gone through breakups, I've gone to, like, psychics. Well, I haven't been in a relationship in quite some time, but I've gone to psychics or going to someone that's more intuitive that can help you more than, like, a talk therapy, and it just helps so much. They can see like on a higher plane or they can tap into those other guides to help you along your journey. It's like, it's like therapy on crack. One session is like a year in talk therapy.
Exactly.
Yes. And have also said that that you're like the CEO for you help business owners. So how can what you're offering help business owners and people like with their business entities or support them in their work?
So a lot of my work I do is around the business energetics and the
Mhm.
business entity. So when a company first creates their brand, they create a business entity, which is kind of like all the thought forms of everyone in the company as well. And the business energetics can go out of alignment if you don't have the right staff, you're not in integrity to what the business entity's role is. So the business entity sees the big vision of the company And my role is to come in and say, well, this is what the business entity wants. These two workers, you might have loyalty with that specific, employee, but they're not actually holding the frequency of the business down. So I come in and really work with the CEO or the business owner itself and just say, well, these are the limitations. These are the things why you're suddenly losing clients or how you can attract more clients. And I really just show them the visions, because I'm a visionary, show them the visions. Well, this is where you're headed, but these are the things you kind of got to let go of. It might be the systems they've got in place. So it's kind of looking at the business holistically and giving them that advice each week through a program I offer. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
and you've
love
been
to do
doing
that stuff.
and you've been doing that for like 25 years, intuitive strategist and CEO trusted advisor for the last 25 years. And you are a digital nomad. How wonderful is that? So, of course, you can do everything. There's no time space continuum, so you can do stuff over the computer. So, where are some of the places that you've traveled in the world doing this kind of work?
Everywhere,
Oh,
really. Mainly go to Dubai, to Singapore.
mm,
Last year I went to all the Asian countries. So I sat in Vietnam and Thailand. I love to go to the UK. So that's my spiritual home. So I've gone there maybe 8 times.
mhm.
Turkey, I've been to San
Wow.
Francisco before COVID hit. So I had to come home. So wherever my energy just goes, I need to be here.
Not a place to be in San Francisco of the pandemic, not a place to be in Australia, not a place to be in a lot of places over the pandemic, not good to be at all. But
No,
I think that's wonderful. How long do you stay in each place usually? I mean, it probably changes in each place, but do you stay a month, 2 months, 6 months? I mean,
it just
going
depends on the
every 2
visa.
weeks would every 2 okay, because it's not like you're picking up and going somewhere for just 2 weeks. That would be a lot of traveling around.
Yeah, generally I like to stay in the one place about a month.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's some places you can stay up to 3 months, but it just depends. Like Vietnam for me was really rough, so I didn't want to hang out there for too long. But
Interesting.
yeah, just kind of depends on the visa mainly
Mhm.
and the currency, like the currency conversion.
Yes. Well, those countries, your money goes a long ways. And you pick up the different energies of the places that you're visiting for sure.
Yeah,
Viet Cong and then Thailand's got a very spiritual. Have you been to Bali? I love Bali. It's one of my favorite. Of course, if
yeah,
you're in Australia, Bali's right next door. Everyone spoke to me and like they see us coming by Balinese, they're like, "Hey, mate."
yes, yes. There's lots of Aussies there, and I do love Bali.
Yes, but the Balinese would be, like, speaking to us in Australian and with the accent. It was fun, definitely fun.
That's hilarious.
Yes. So just a few more questions before we go. I would love to hear what channeled messages are coming through right now for the collective, through the Akasha, through the Galactic ambassadors, through your guides.
Yeah, it's really about lifting your vibration into more positive states and not getting distracted by the world. Like, stay in your own lane. Don't feel like you need to fix and rescue those around you, because a lot of us are releasing the martyr programming and the victim
Mm,
programming. So that's a lot of the messaging at the moment, that it's, yeah, just really recognizing when you're trying to fix and rescue those that you love, because that's not going to work for you
yes.
anymore. It's kind of really lowering your vibration and distracting you from your purpose. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's the biggest one that's coming through.
Yes, and I learned early on, like, when I first awakened when I was in Portland during those pandemic years, like, when I started waking, I'm like, "I gotta warn everybody in my stories, like, what is going on? Like, here, this, and that." And it's like a time when you didn't talk about these things, and I talked about these things, and then it finally came to a point where, like, you know what? The information is out there. They either wanna see it or they don't. I can't help them anymore. So that was one of the times, but yeah, we can waste so much energy, like what's going on the world stage and, how can I control what's going on the other side of the world? Stay in your own lane, like with your own energy and your frequency. How can I put that here? You can hold space for it, but like there's nothing you can physically do right now for somewhere that's halfway around the world. And so many of us are being drawn into that, not even just what's happening in our own country, but what's happening in these other countries, like across an ocean, instead of focusing on what's going on in here in our own country, but more importantly, what's going on here in our own life with our own person in
Yes.
our own environment. Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like
Yes.
that's the biggest message that we really need to remember right now. And I get
Y-
distracted very easily. It's like, look over there, Danielle. I'm
Yes.
like, hang on, I'm doing my course today. Why am I getting caught up in this?
Yes. Yes.
Get off
Yes.
TikTok, Daniela.
What is something that someone can do to stay in their own lane? Like when they're feeling being taken away to this or that, oh, shiny object, or getting like
Oh,
being all calm and happy, and then something throws them off kilter. And I know I get thrown off kilter sometimes with the small stuff like running in and out of the house, forgetting something, or like stuff like that. How can someone kind of like, okay, I need to just focus and stay in my own lane and keep my frequency from going down, keep it high? What's something they can do today?
for me personally, it's self awareness. It's listening to my body because as soon as my body goes into that, I start to feel angry or frustrated or self doubt, I pull myself up and I go straight back into self inquiry. What's going on, Daniela? Like, whose energy are you taking on? Why are you allowing this to happen? And just do some, kind of, even a bit of journaling and just what's going on. Like that's the best piece that I do, or
Mhm.
just it's like, okay, shake it out, nervous system, because there's
That's
so
good.
many energies coming into our central nervous system right now to try to throw us off balance.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really listening to what the body is doing and feeling, and then you're like, okay, I can see what's happening here, people.
But sometimes it's so hard to do that when we're so like in our fight or flight reptilian brain, like in that
Mm,
moment, just nothing seems to work. Like you can't talk yourself out. You don't want to journal. You're just, when it overtakes you, it probably doesn't overtake you anymore. But I've had situations where it still overtakes me with all the work that I've even done. And
mm.
the people out there that don't have any of this foundation or base, they're really taken off kilter. So when you're just in that fight or flight, isn't it touching something within yourself or touching something around you that can help ground you so you're not, or breathing? I know all that, but there's that fight or flight response where journaling's not going to work.
Yeah, sure. So I can't probably show you, but I usually just massage my body, like
Mm,
massage my body across here and just really getting the nervous
mhm,
system to come back in. Yeah, just physical touch and just, telling yourself, that you're okay. And it's literally just balancing. Well, somatic work really is the best one.
mhm,
So that's the physical stuff. Just sort of touching your legs quite hard, like, just really moving that energy through the nervous system.
mhm,
And the other thing that I do is I'll call in the Christ consciousness. So I'll call in Jesus, Yeshua. I'm not religious,
mhm,
but calling in the Christ consciousness to release whatever dark energies or distractions in my energy field is an instant thing for me.
mhm.
And a lot of spiritual teachers like Laurie Ladd talks about
Oh, yes.
calling in the Christ consciousness as well. And Kali, goddess Kali, she's a demon eater. She works well too. If you're
Mm,
just like, there's something dark in my field and I can't move it. Yeah, they're the things that I find work really well for me.
mhm. Yeah, I used to say, I release it into the white light of the Holy Spirit. I release this in the white light of the Holy Spirit. And Kali, she can just take it, eat it, and burn it up.
Interesting. Hello.
It's fire energy. Wonderful. Well, I would love for my audience to know how to find you and how to work with you. And of course, we're frozen. Hello, Kali. Hi.
Yep, that's what happens when we talk about Yeshua.
Exactly.
That was hilarious. Oh, dear.
That's funny. Okay, I'll ask that again. Okay, so I would love for my audience to know how to find you and work with you.
Oh, you're so beautiful, aren't you? Okay, so you can just find me on all the social medias. There's a link tree, which I think I sent you the link,
Yes.
where you can look up all my courses and book in a discovery call. Yeah, I'm on the social medias. I'm in TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Yeah, but through any of the links that you send below would be awesome.
Yes. Yes. We will find you. And you sent me all the HTMLs, so it's really easy for them to find you. I don't have to do all
Yes.
this research. Yes, it's all down there. I'll put it all in the show notes. Well, Daniela, I have one more question before we go, and I would love to hear from you what it means for you to live with an awakened heart.
I just feel alive and I've got that awakened heart. I feel I'm on purpose. I'm supporting humanity. I just see my life so expansive. It's a gift. It's just a gift to be awakened and
Mhm.
to be heart centered and to support humanity even if they're having a bad day. Like you're in your heart and
Mhm.
you know that just one word can help them. That's how I
Yes.
feel.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I just heard your dog just as we were wrapping up. What kind of dog do you
Yes.
have?
That's my best friend's dog. She's a
Oh,
Staffy
okay.
actually. Hi, darling.
I'm lucky I didn't get interrupted. I've got my door closed, and my 2 kittens. So, but well, it's been
Gorgeous.
wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on. You have a beautiful day. It is what is today here? Wednesday, Thursday. You're in Thursday morning, right?
Mhm. 8 o'clock
Wonderful.
now. Yep.
8 o'clock, your whole day in front of you, and my day is ending. So thank you for coming on the Awaken Heart podcast.
Thank you so much, beautiful, for your time, and
Thank you.
we'll speak soon.
Okay. Bye.